Hello, welcome to Wordsworth Model Railway. My name's Mike and we have another Let's Build a Card kit. Today we're going to build a follow-up card kit to the farmhouse, and this one is the Stone Farm tractor shed. It's a outside building where tractors can be parked up. It has outside utility room, and it also has a hayloft. So nice simple kit. So let's get started. Okay, so let's go. These are the outside walls. We've got wall 1, wall 3, wall 5 and wall 7. Within the kit, as previous versions, there is a plan view showing exactly how these wall sections all glue together. So let me start by you'll have to excuse the phone, that's a text message coming in. Right, where were we? Oh right, yes, let's get these cut out. I won't bore you with the cutting out. You all know how to cut out card. Make sure you have a steel rule, a nice sharp blade on your utility knife, and keep these fingers away from the sharp blade. So let me get these cut out and then we'll come back. Okay, we've got our wall sections cut out. This is the front, there's the rear, left side, right side. These are all the outside wall sections. Once you get to this stage, what we've got to do now is cut out the window openings, the loft hatch openings, window openings, door opening, tractor shed, bay areas, and this is a little nameplate set in like one of those sandstone bricks. It's actually called Daffodil Farm. So let's get these sections cut out, and then I'll show you how we proceed. Okay, we've got our openings cut out. Now the next step is entirely optional, but what I tend to do with these open sections, I don't know if I can get this, but basically what I'm going to do is get some acrylic brown paint. I like to use Valerio, and with a small brush from this side, that way you don't get anything on your fascia, just tidy up those raw edges with some brown paint. You could use a marker pen or maybe a wax crane. I've never tried the wax crane, but there's some options, but I'm going to use this. So let me get this out of the way and then we'll move on. Okay, we've got our sections painted on the inside edges there. Let's put these to one side, and what we'll do is concentrate on the inner walls now. Right, we've turned our attention to the inner walls. These are actually on 2mm card, so they're a little bit thicker than the outside walls. They were only 1mm card. The sections we want to cut out at the moment, this one, this one, this one and this one. Leave these on the card for now, so let me get these cut out. Okay, we've got our inner wall sections cut out. Now there's a couple of things you need to remember when cutting thicker card. The aim is not to cut the lines in one go. Let the blade do the cutting, so it might take 2-3 passes to actually get through 2mm card. The other thing you need to remember is, because it's thicker card, you need to try to remember to keep the blade at 90 degrees to the card. You don't want your blade doing this, otherwise you'll end up with chamfers on your card edges. So we've got these. What we need to do now is bring in our outer walls. There's one that goes over there, that one goes over there, this one goes over there, this one over there. So what we do is we apply PVA to there, line those up, and basically it's the same with all these sections. Apply your PVA, align them up, and then clamp them in position with Boston clips. That's what I like to use. So let me get these glued together and I'll show you where we move on to next. Right, actually I made a little mistake there. Before we actually get round to gluing these sections on, what we have got to do is just pull this to one side, turn that over. You're not actually going to see this from inside the building, but I've designed a brick sheet that just covers this section. I'll pull that to that side, and it's the same on this one. You will see this one, so you need to make sure your brick paper goes in there. So what I'll do, let's pull these to one side. On a print only sheet, there's one, and on another sheet there's the back wall. Let me get these cut out and I'll show you what we actually do before we glue the inner and outer wall sections together. Okay, after that near mishap, at least you remember now when you're building your version. What we need to do is flip that over, apply some glue, and then that piece will glue onto there. Remember your orientation of the card. Flip that section over, and glue that section there. You're going to say they're on the opposite sides, but what you have to remember is that's the inside rear. So once these are glued and we actually lift this up and turn it round and lift them up like this, both these are actually on the same side, the right hand side of the building. So let me get these glued in place and we'll carry on with the build. Okay, we've got the sections glued on. We are now ready to glue these into position. That one goes there. That one actually goes there. And now you can see why we need the brick paper showing on the inside of this particular one. And if we turn this one round, you can see why we need it on this one. There's a wall to go in here, there's a wall to go in here, and there's a ceiling to go in there. But let's get all these sections glued together now. Okay, we've got all our inner and outer walls glued together. We've got them held in place with some Boston clips. All we can do right now is put these to one side and let the glue actually grab and hold those sections together before we proceed. So the next sections we need before we actually start putting these walls together, we need to cut out these inner walls now, which is for the tractor bay, and this is the ceiling part for the tractor bay. So let me get these three cut out. This is then defunct, it can go into the recycle bin, and we'll go from there. So we've got our walls. They're going to sit inside the building like so, and then we've got the ceiling which actually sits on top of these walls like so. They won't stand up, but you get the drift. They'll glue together eventually, and that will be the tractor bay inside there. But I'm still waiting for the glue to dry on my outer walls, so maybe it's time to have 5 minutes, get the kettle on, have a nice cup of tea. Okay, so it's now time to get our wall sections. Take them all these bulldog clips or Boston clips off. Always remember to keep your work area tidy. Plus, you know where to find them when you need them for the next time. Oh, let's have a look. Right, just one more piece to get, which is under the camera. Get those out of the way. Right, how this works. Right, what we're going to do is glue this wall onto this section. We've got this piece which will glue down here. We've got that piece which will glue in there. That piece will glue in here. And then that piece will glue there. And the final piece will glue on there. So I'm not going to bore you with the gluing part, but we'll make a start with getting this section together. So we've got the front section glued with the ceiling and the two side walls. So that's what you should have at this stage. Next, we'll get this wall onto there, get that glued, then we can get the glue piece, the two end walls. Okay, we've now got the rear wall glued onto the kit. Just turn it round so you can see from every angle what you should be looking at. There's the inside. Oh. See, that's what happens when you start moving it around before the glue's set. Now let's get that back there. And I tell you what, before I move it around any further, let's just leave it there until that glue grabs a little, but that's what you're aiming for. Right, so we've got to this stage. What we want to do, get this end wall, and this will glue on there. So let me apply some glue and then we'll get that on. So all we've got to do now is glue this final end piece, the hayloft section, onto this end of the kit. We will then be ready to put the covering strips up the corners, get the roof on, and then you just need to find a spot on your layout. So let's get this piece, let's get some glue applied, and let's get it attached to the kit. So whilst we've got the main building to one side for the glue to set, let's concentrate on getting the building roof cut out and these two apex fascia panels cut out. Okay, we've got our two roof apex fascia panels cut out. They can go to one side. We're still waiting for the main building to dry, and I haven't forgot about the corner coverings yet, but we can't do those until the building's dry. So I'm just trying to keep the kit moving along. What we need to do is, obviously this is the roof, but it's no good flat. So get your steel rule, get it onto that dotted red line, get your knife. Now you've got to be clever here, because you've got to cut through enough of the card so that it bends, but not so much that you've cut it in half. So hopefully there we go, nice and easy. Over she goes. Folded in half, but it's still attached. What we need to do now, turn our attention to the covering sections, which is the tile effect. So let's put this to one side and get our roof coverings. Now there's some dotted red lines on here to help us fold this over the card section. So let me get these scored. I've got a new tool that I got for Christmas. It's a proper crafting, embossing and scoring tool. So line up your steel rule, basically run it down, move along to the next red line, run it down. Basically this is doing the same as the empty Bic ink pen I used to use. It's got a tiny little ball section on there for the scoring. So I'll turn this round, I'll do this side, and then I'll switch off and complete, and then we'll get these cut out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I've done the folding And anyone who's watched previous videos will know that I also like to draw pencil lines on the underside. This just makes it easier when it comes to gluing it to the roof. You can see your score lines match up absolutely lovely. So let's get these cut out, and then we'll get some glue applied and we'll get them onto the roof section. Okay, we've got our tile paper cut out. That's now ready to be glued to the roof section. By the time we've done this, we should be able to turn our attention back to the main building and get those corner covering sections applied. But let's complete this roof section. Okay, that's the first half glued on. Let's do the same with this second piece. Okay, we've now got the complete roof. It's got its tile covering on. That's how it looks underneath. What we need to do is just put this to one side for now and bring back the main building. So here's the main building at present. I'll just do a 360, try and keep it into the camera. There's the hayloft entrance. That's the back of the tractor shed barn. Some windows into the utility section of the building. Back around to the front. There's the door to get in. And there's the little nameplate I was telling you about, Daffodil Farm. These are the sections we're now going to work on. We're going to get some strips of paper, brick paper, and apply. These are the corner covering sections here, and there's the ridge tiles. So I've got the corner wall covering strips. As can be seen, I've got them pre-folded. What we need to do now is cut them out so they're individual. So we've got our individual covering strips. There's one wall end, there's the other wall end. So all we need to do is apply some glue to these and we'll get them onto the corner of the building. So here we are, we've got our corner covering sections all on, 4 corners. What we need to do now, bring back the roof section and let's see if we can get that glued on. So we're now ready to add the roof. What we need to do is apply some glue over these ridge ends and just a little bit along these trailing edges here, and we'll get the roof glued on. We've now got the roof section glued to the main building. We just need to let this dry a little bit. So before we put the fascia ends on, let's get the ridge tile section cut out from the last piece of print only and get that fitted. So you can see this is the ridge tile section. I've got it pre-scored and folded, and then on the inside I like to have my pencil line, which just aids me. You don't have to do it, it just aids me in making sure I get the thing central on the kit. So let's get this cut out now. We've now got the ridge tile detail fitted to the kit. The only thing left to do are these two apex fascias, which simply glue in here. So let me get some glue applied to these fascia panels and we'll get them glued in place. Now I've just got some Boston clips holding the apex fascia sections in place, but basically that is your kit completed. All you need to do, find a spot on your layout and enjoy. I hope you enjoy yourself today on another Let's Build a Card Kit, and I'll see you next time. It's bye for now.